that's the truth.
All that matters is strength for me, so don't tell me that.
Let's get that from me.
Tell me you didn't agree with you completely.
Really didn't deserve that.
I believe that. That was obvious all along.
You just have to listen.
Hey, where you think you're going?
To the house, of course.
Onar pays us not to let guys like you in here.
I want to talk to Lee.
What do you want from him?
He and I go way back.
You're a pal of Lee's? I don't believe a word. But go on in. If he doesn't recognize you, you'll know it. Lee's in the right wing. Don't even think about wandering around anywhere else.
Never would have thought of that himself.
Same old thing,
I'm not telling you anything new.
Who the devil let you in here? What are you doing here? I thought you were dead.
What makes you think that?
Gorn told me it was you who brought down the barrier.
Yes, that was me, all right.
I never would have thought that a man could survive something like that. What brings you here? You aren't here without a reason.
I absolutely must talk to the paladins in town. Can you help me get to them?
What's your business with the paladins?
That's a long story.
I've got time.
Zardoz sent me on a mission. He wants me to obtain a powerful amulet, the Eye of Innos.
So you're still allied to that necromancer. I see. And the paladins have this amulet?
As far as I know, yes.
I can help you get to the paladins, but first you need to become one of us.
How can you help me get to the paladins?
Trust me, I've got a plan. I think you're the right man for it. I'll take you to the paladins, and you'll do me a favor. But first, join us.
What exactly are you doing here?
Quite simple. I'm gonna see to it that we all get off this island. Onar hired us to defend his farm, and that's exactly what we're gonna do. But our reward is more than just our pay. By helping the farmers, we cut the city off from its provisions. And the less the paladins have to eat, the sooner they'll listen when I finally make them an offer of peace.
What is your offer going to look like?
Essentially, it will be about our pardons and free passage to the mainland. You'll learn more when the time comes.
Gorn told you about me? What happened to him?
You remember him, don't you?
Sure.
He got caught by the paladins and was sent back to the Valley of Mines with a penal convoy. If the road to the Valley of Mines wasn't plastered with paladins and orcs, I'd have sent a couple of the boys already to free him. But the way things are, there's no point. Poor devil.
I want to join you.
I'd hope you say that. I can use every able man here. The last mercenaries I accepted have done nothing but stir up trouble. In principle, you can start right away. Well, first there's one or two things we need to get straight, but it's no big deal.
What do I have to get straight before I can join you?
Onar, the landowner, is the one who employs us. You can only stay on the farm with his approval. And then there's the boys. I can only accept you if a majority of the mercenaries agree that you join us. But don't go to Onar before everything is straightened out. He's a very impatient fellow.
How can I convince the mercenaries to vote me in?
By doing what is expected of you as a mercenary, I should say. Talk to Torloff. He's usually outside in front of the house. He'll put you to the test. If you can pass that, you should have earned a large part of the necessary respect. He'll tell you everything else you need to know.
What do you know about the Ring of Water?
I might have known. You just have to mingle in everything, don't you?
Come on, tell me.
I'm only marginally involved in this. I know that this secret guild exists here and that the water mages are behind it. Since the fall of the barrier, I am no longer bound to the agreement I came to with the water mages back then. Of course, I still help when I can, but most of the time, I have my own problems and barely any time for other things. If you want to know more about it, you should probably talk to Cord. He's one of them, as far as I know.
Nothing amazes me anymore.
You just have to listen.
That doesn't surprise me.
I've got no time.
There's nothing you can do about it. Never would have thought of that.
That will never change.
That's been going on a long time.
I've got no time.
If you have a problem with wolves or field raiders, go talk to one of the younger mercenaries. You can come to me when the paladins show up here.
What?
Whenever one of you peasants comes to me, it's always about slaughtering innocent beasts.
I'm not a peasant.
Oh? What is it you want then?
I want to become a mercenary.
You look more like someone who'd been born to work in the field, boy. Can you wield a weapon then? So, how about one-handed weapons?
Well,
And two-handed weapons then?
I'm surely gonna get better.
In other words, you're a damn greenhorn. Each mercenary needs to be able to rely on his comrades. All our lives depend on that. As long as you barely know how to wield a weapon, you're in the wrong place here.
I've heard that you belong to the Ring of Water.
What rat has not been able to keep his big trap shut?
Lee told me about it. Lares said you could help me if I told you that I reside beneath his wing.
Looks like I've got a deal with you now, doesn't it? All right, so what do you need? And be damn careful about what you tell me. For if I don't like what I hear, I just might skin you alive.
You don't have to tell me that.
I'm better off myself. I can't believe that.
I used to say that myself.
I want your armor.
Say that again and you get to pick up your teeth from the ground.
Tell me you didn't know that. Nothing amazes me anymore. It's quite obvious.
I used to say that myself.
Doesn't see that. I can't help it. Never change for a thing or two.
I'm staying out.
I never
You could help me to get accepted by the mercenaries.
I can just see it now. Right, I'll try. What else?
He never would have thought of that himself. Nothing amazes me anymore. That's the first I've heard of it.
It was his decision, wasn't it?
That's really not my problem.
I'm staying out.
I don't really need anything. I'll get along by myself.
If that's what you want, you had your chance. And woe betide you if I hear that you can't keep your trap shut. And I'm only saying this once, understand?
I used to say that myself.
Teach me how to fight.
I only train mercenaries or worthy candidates.
You don't have to tell me that.
That's all just gossip. I've gone about it differently than you hear.
Help me become a mercenary.
Let me think. You've got to get past Torloff if you want to make any progress here. Have you already seen Torloff about it?
Not really.
So go ahead. Take care of it and then come back here.
My sister was better.
I couldn't get away with that.
You hardly know who to believe these days.
And believe everything you
That's really not my problem.
forever.
He doesn't even know how to hold
And
a
there's
sword.
more, believe me.
What do you want from me?
I never knew that. That's not what I heard.
Can you help me improve my abilities?
I could show you how to use your strength better in close combat. A lot of fighters are very weak because they don't have the technique to use their strength properly. The same is true for dexterity in ranged weapons.
You hardly know what to believe these days.
I want to improve my abilities.
Nobody will learn anything from me.
I want to join the mercenaries.
Oh, and why do you think I should be in favor of you being accepted here?
Do you really believe that?
Really have known better.
Put me to the test.
Did Lee send you to me?
He said you would help me.
Fine, so here we go. There are two things you have to do before you can join us. First, you have to prove that you're capable of mastering the tasks that you will have to fulfill as a mercenary. I'll put you to the test. And second, you have to earn the respect of the other mercenaries.
I've heard a thing or two.
Well, how can I earn the respect of the other mercenaries?
For most of them, it'll be enough if you fulfill your task and pass my test. But you'll have to find some other way of convincing some of them. Some will try and exploit your situation, and others may not like your mug. You should try to get along with as many of the boys as possible. But if nothing else helps, then you can always take part in a duel. If you win, you'll earn the respect of most of them. But watch out that you don't kill one of them by accident, because then you'll have a big problem.
Where did you pick that up then? I'd have gone about it differently.
What are the rules for a duel?
Quite simple. Both opponents have to have the opportunity to draw their weapons before the first blow. You can't just go and belt one of the men without warning. There has to be some sort of spoken challenge, an insult, or another reason to fight. None of the other men will interfere in a fight like that, unless one of the two gets killed in the duel.
Nothing amazes me anymore. I'm no better off myself. Really have known better.
What about you? Will you vote me in?
If you can prove that you can fulfill the duties of a mercenary, yes.
Can't rely on that. I've got my own opinion about that.
What are my duties as a mercenary?
Onar hired us for two reasons. He wants us to keep the militia off his back, and he wants us to keep things in order on his farms. That includes collecting the rent when the small farmers won't pay. So, what'll it be?
Get that from me. Nothing you can do about it. I'm no better off myself.
Nobody wants to know.
Nothing amazes me anymore.
I can't believe that.
That's all just gossip. Will it ever change?
Let me collect the rent.
Good. Listen, the farmer Sekhob hasn't paid his rent to Onar for weeks. Onar wants him to cough up 50 gold pieces. Any questions?
That's the first.
Where is Sekob's farm?
In the north of the valley. Looking from here, that's to the right at the big crossroads. If you have problems, the farmers in the fields will help you find your way around the area.
Don't tell me you didn't know that.
That will never change.
Don't say you didn't know that. I knew that. Yeah, he really said that. You mustn't believe everything you hear about it differently. I'm no better off myself.
Same old thing all over again.
I never knew that.
And there's more, believe me.
So where are we headed then?
Are you the foreman here?
I'll give you one upside the head, you rascal. If you want to go ambling across my land, you'll pay me 5 gold coins, or you're in for a good thrashing.
Forget it. You won't get anything from me.
Then I'm afraid I'm gonna have to tan your hide.
Come on and try it then.
Well, in that case... So where are we headed then?
Are you the
If you want to go ambling across my land, you'll pay me 5 gold.
Forget that. Come on and try it then.
Well, in that case... So where are we headed then?
Are you the foreman here?
Then...
Come on and try it then.
Well, in that case... So where are we?
Are you your land? Forget that. Come on and try it then.
Well, in that case... You'll regret this.
But they're smashed.
Don't you ever dare attack me again. So where are we?
Are you the foreman here? Come on and try it then.
Well, in that case... I'll get you yet!
But they're smashing each other's skulls. Not bad at all.
Don't you try that again.
So, still got that big mouth?
Don't beat me, please. I'll even go back to work, okay?
Well, kiddo?
That's no way for a farmhand to talk to me. Just how often do I have to remind you?
Are you in charge here?
No, I'm only Sekob's son. But once my old man is no longer with us, then all the land you can see here will belong to me.
Amazing. Is that how you always treat your field workers?
Of course, they need that. Whoever doesn't toe the line here gets thrashed. That's the way it goes.
There's this guy who demands a toll from every passerby, claiming he's the farmer.
Yes, I know. That's Bronko. He does whatever he wants. Not that I haven't pounded it into him 1,000 times that he should finally get back to work.
But?
He just doesn't do it. My father's quite annoyed with me that I still haven't managed to persuade him to go back to work.
Maybe I can help you.
Do you mean that? Okay, listen. If you can get Bronko to go back to work, I'll pay you, shall we say, 10 gold pieces? What do you say?
No problem, but I want more money.
All right, 20 gold pieces then.
I want more.
30?
I want more.
Maybe 50?
All right, I'll see what I can do.
But hurry up about it.
Hey! So what do you do when you're not busy playing ruler of the farm?
Stand guard. The filthy militiamen from the city are coming onto our land more and more often and stealing everything they can get their hands on. Only last week the bastards were here, and they took some of our sheep. If I could get my hands on one of them, I'd make short work of him.
But of course. Why don't the mercenaries help you against the militia?
Before they even turn up, I've already driven them off.
I need to talk to your father.
He hasn't got time, but I'm his deputy. What can I help you with?
By introducing me to your father.
You're a real tough guy and a good fighter, huh?
The best.
I think maybe I better get him then.
Never mind, boy. I'll find him, I'm sure.
If you say so.
So, still got that big mouth?
Don't beat me, please. I'll even go back to work, okay?
Hey, you! Bronko's back at work.
Really? That's terrific.
Yeah, and now I want my cash.
Well, business is business, right?
Hey, you! Has anyone blown your nose for you today?
Leave me alone, you idiot.
What are you doing on my land? There's nothing here to steal. Clear off.
Isn't there a piece of land in this blasted country that doesn't belong to anyone?
Go to work. Then maybe someday you can call a piece of land your own. But until then, kindly loaf around somewhere else.
This land belongs to the big farmer. You're only the tenant here. Onar wants you to pay your rent at last. You're several weeks behind.
What? And he sent a villain like you? Not even you believe that. Get out of here before I forget myself.
Fork over the dough or I'll bash in your teeth.
You're not going after my purse, you criminal, not you. Ah!
I'll never get this open without the right key.
All right, you win. What do you want?
Where do you have the money?
Don't hit me again, please. I'll do whatever you say.
We'll pay your rent then.
But, sir, I don't have anything. I'm just a poor wretch and half-starved. My last harvest dried up completely. I want to pay my rent, but I just don't have anything. Have pity.
Cut out that piffle. It rains here all the time and your larders are full. Pay your rent now or I'll kill you.
No, please, here, take the gold. I'll even add a bonus if you let me live.
See, that wasn't so hard.
I'm ruined.
Hey, you! Everything all right with you?
Well, it's so-so. My back hurts from all this hard labor. What are you doing here? I don't get visitors here all that often. Usually it's either some cutthroats from the mountains or those horrible malicious soldiers from the city. They've been raiding our farm rather frequently lately, but you don't look like you're one of them, or are you?
What are you doing here?
I've been asking myself that for several years. Sekob, my husband, has fallen out with everyone in the area by now. He's in debt everywhere, and so he steals goods from Onar's stocks and sells them in town. By now, he's accumulated a fortune with his underhanded dealings, and he works our field hands until their backs break. His own people call him nothing but slave driver these days. I'm not particularly proud to call myself the wife of Sekhob. Believe me, sometimes I wish the barrier were still in place. Would you like to buy something to eat? Or perhaps something for hunting in the forest?
Barrier?
Well, it's the dome that used to enclose the old Valley of Mines. Many of the farmers and workers who committed a crime back then were simply tossed in there, and they never came back.
Why did the militia attack you on your farms here?
Because there's nobody there to prevent them from simply plundering our farms instead of buying our goods. The king is far away, and we just have to put up with working for Onar and hoping that Onar will send help when we really need it.
What does Onar's help look like?
Sometimes we receive warning in advance when some militiamen are planning to pay us a visit on their own account to rob us. Then we send somebody to the old landowner to ask him for help. And then usually, it doesn't take long for the mercenaries he pays to come here and chase off the militia. But when all is said and done, the mercenaries aren't much better.
Have you ever been at the barrier?
No, we only heard about it. Bengaar, the farmer on the high pastures, can surely tell you more about that. His farm is quite close to the pass which leads to the Valley of Mines.
How can I get to Bengaar's farm?
Go ask Balthazar. He's our shepherd. He sometimes leads his animals to graze on Bengaar's pastures up there. He'll be able to tell you how to get there.
Keep your chin up.
Take care of yourself and don't let them get to you.
What can you offer me?
What do you want?
Keep your chin up.
Take care of yourself and don't let them get to you.
The next time you'll pay on time, understand?
What did I do to deserve this?
Has anyone blown your nose for you today?
Leave me alone, you idiot.
Hey, how are things?
Ah, a new face here on the farm. Has the old skinflint finally granted me an apprentice?
I'm not an apprentice.
Oh, I see. I'm not as young as I used to be, you know, and I've been waiting for a replacement for years. You aren't here because the neighbors are annoyed, are you?
What's the work you do here?
Oh, I guard the sheep, and I've been doing that for as long as I can remember. The animals are very loyal and very smart, you see. If you treat them well, they'll follow you for a lifetime.
Have you seen any bandits passing through here?
I certainly have. They passed along the edge of the field near Sekob's farm and entered the forest to the north. They were carrying loads of weapons. They looked like they were all set to win the war against the orcs. I'm just glad they stayed away from our farm.
What's the trouble with your neighbors?
The grass on this side of the big field is always so stunted and dry, so I mostly go to the big pastures of the other farmers. Oh, the landowner doesn't mind, but Bengaar, the farmer on the high pastures, always makes a big deal out of it when I take the animals up there. He says Sekhob should pay if I take his animals onto Bengaar's pasture, but Sekhob won't spend a measly coin for that, so I can't go up onto the plateau anymore.
Maybe I should talk to Bengaar.
You do that for me? What will you tell him? I mean, I don't want any trouble, you hear?
We'll see about that. Where can I find the high pastures in Bengaar's farm?
Follow this path and cross the big crossroad. If you stick to the right, you'll see a big outcropping of rock. Behind that, to the right, are the high pastures and the pass.
Everything else all right?
Oh, I can't complain. Thanks for asking.
How's it going?
You're not one of us, huh? I'd get out of here if I were you.
Why?
This wasn't a paradise before, but at least we were left in peace as long as we did our work for Sekob. But lately it's become unbearable. Bandits are everywhere, field raiders destroy the entire harvest, and the landowner is getting to be pretty brutal.
Are you afraid of the landowner then?
You bet. If the landowner doesn't like people's faces, he sends his mercenaries after him, and that's the last you see of them. So we prefer to keep our mouths closed.
Shouldn't the mercenaries take care of the field raiders?
I don't know what they're being paid for, but certainly not to help us common people. The field raider problem is left to the small farmers who rent the fields from him.
How do you protect yourselves against the bandits?
We don't. We run away. What else?
Keep your chin up.
That's not so easy if you're working for Sekhob, the slave driver.
Hello, beautiful maid.
Stop trying to sweet-talk me, boy, and tell me what you want. I'm busy.
How's the field work coming?
Look at these huge fields we have to work, and you know how we're doing. Are you looking for farm work?
No, actually, I want to become a mercenary.
Then you're in the wrong place. You can usually find the mercenaries on the landowner's farm.
Say, the nasty fellow over there.
That's Bronko. What about him?
Is that your farmer?
Is that what he told you? Sekhob is our farmer. Bronko is nothing but a layabout and a good-for-nothing, but strong as an ox. That's why nobody says anything when he doesn't work. The only people who could get him to work are the mercenaries. He's afraid of them.
And apart from that?
I'm busy.
It had to happen sooner or later.
I could have caused more trouble.
I've got no time for things like that.
You don't have to ask me that.
It was his decision, wasn't it?
He should have known better before.
And there's more. Believe me.
Who said that? Exactly what I said.
You can't rely on that.
You already know what I think.
I've got no time for things like that.
It's totally obvious.
Hey, you! Everything all right?
Ah, an unfamiliar wanderer. I am very busy, so what do you want?
What are you doing here?
Well, the things a woodcutter and hunter usually do.
What interesting things are there to see here?
Interesting is well put. If you go deeper into the woods here, you'll run into some very evil fellows. They're about 10 feet tall, hairy, and in a really bad mood. So don't go there if you're not strong enough for them.
Can you teach me something about hunting?
Sure, but first get me something decent to eat. I'm dying of hunger out here. I want a bottle of milk, a loaf of bread, and a fat ham. Then I'll teach you what you want.
You can't rely on that.
I'm not touching that.
I've gone about it differently. It's been known a long time.
Hey!
You don't have to tell me that.
Hello, pretty girl.
Just where did you escape from?
That's really not my problem.
They say you are revolting against the king.
My father has decided that it's time we defended ourselves.
You didn't know that.
The militia never helped us anyway. They only came here to drag off our provisions.
Will it ever change?
That'll never change.
You listen to the wrong people.
Enough trouble. He thinks it's as easy as that.
His decision, wasn't it?
Will it ever change?
I used to say
I'm
that.
not telling you anything new.
I've heard a thing or two.
Nobody wants to know.
Things I could tell
Nobody
you.
ever asked for my opinion.
That's been known a long
There was
time.
no big deal.
I agree with you
Can't believe
completely.
I'm staying out of it.
He really didn't deserve
Nothing
that.
amazes me any more. Better off myself.
Just listen to him talk.
Will it ever change?
Of course we got him in the end.
Things I could tell
Been
you.
there, done that.
I'm not touching that.
That's all just bad.
Nobody
What kind of work is to be had here on the farm?
My father pays money to all the men who help defend the farm. Are you interested? You don't look like someone who has a passion for field labor.
How much does your father pay?
You'd have to negotiate that with him. All I know is that each mercenary here gets paid every day.
He really said that.
I've got no time.
I used to say that myself.
I'd have gone better off myself.
I couldn't.
Are there any rules here that I should stick to?
You don't touch anything here that isn't yours. You stay away from the areas that are none of your business. And if you must pick a fight, stick to the mercenaries. If you start a brawl with the farmers, everybody here will be against you.
Is it really true these days?
Nobody wants to.
What's your job here?
I sell the goods that we produce. If you want to buy something, just let me know. But let me warn you, I won't stand for either haggling or stealing, understood?
His decision wasn't it?
I've heard a thing or two. That doesn't surprise me. He never would.
Has anything significant happened lately?
A few days ago, my father decreed that we're no longer allowed to sell anything in town. So now I'm staying here on the farm and selling my wares to visitors only.
You don't have to tell me that.
That was quite obvious.
Show me your wares.
What can I offer you?
That's not what I heard. It can't go on like this forever.
Done that. You don't have to tell me that.
But he knew that all along. Better off myself. Tell me you didn't know that.
Things I could tell you.
I can't believe that.
It was his decision, wasn't it?
There's more,
You have to
believe me.
step in and sort things out. That's been known a long time.
That'll never change.
Nothing amazes me anymore.
You should really have known better.
I'm staying out of it.
Nobody ever asked for my opinion. Nobody will learn anything from me. That's not what I heard. You have to step in and
Been
sort
there,
things
done
out.
that.
I've got my own opinion about that.
Don't tell me you didn't know
I
that.
couldn't care less.
He doesn't even know how to hold a sword.
I couldn't care less.
That will never change.
I already thought as
All
much.
that matters is strength. I'm no better off myself. That's really not my
It
problem.
was his decision, wasn't it?
I collected the rent from Sekob.
And? Did he pay willingly?
I had to convince him first.
Well done, you passed your test. That'll convince a lot of the mercenaries that you have what it takes.
He doesn't even know how to hold a sword.
How's my reputation among the mercenaries?
Let's see. It's Cord's opinion that you first need to learn how to handle weapons better. Raul's against you. I think he can't stand you. I don't need to say anything about Silvio and Bolko. Those two morons are against everyone. You convinced most of them by passing the test. Although a lot of them say that getting a farmer to pay his rent was too easy for a test. You have my vote in any case. You're far from done, kid. If you want us to accept you, you'll have to do something for it.
That was obvious all along.
That was no big deal.
I wouldn't be so sure.
Don't tell me you didn't know that. Nobody will learn anything from me.
Nobody wants to know.
Teach me how to fight.
I only train mercenaries or worthy candidates.
Help me become a mercenary.
Let me think. You've got to get past Torloff if you want to make any progress here. Have you already seen Torloff about it?
Yes, that's with the test and everything.
What test would that be?
It's already taken care of.
Oh, I guess I can't help you then.
What do you mean by that?
Well, it means that I cannot help you. Or do you want me to go up against every single mercenary just so that you can join here? You'll have to do that yourself.
Of course we got him in the end.
I want to become a mercenary.
Have you gotten better by now? So, how about one-handed weapons?
Well...
And two-handed weapons then?
I'm surely gonna get better.
In other words, you're a damn greenhorn. Each mercenary needs to be able to rely on his comrades. All our lives depend on that. As long as you barely know how to wield a weapon, you're in the wrong place here.
I agree with you completely.
Teach me how to fight.
I only train
He thinks it's as easy as that.
I'm not touching that.
Obvious all along. I'm not telling you anything new.
His decision, wasn't
He
it?
doesn't even know how to hold
You have to
a
step
sword.
in and sort things out.
He really should have known.
Doing all right?
Hey, I know you. From the colony. What do you want here?
I've got my own opinion about that.
He really should have known better.
I've come to join you.
Why not? I've got nothing against it. Anyway, you freed our mine from the guards back then. But don't count on getting along with the others here so easily. A lot of newbies have come along since then. And some of the old mercenaries won't remember you.
There's more, believe me.
I almost didn't recognize you. You look rather haggard.
When the barrier fell, I barely got away with my life.
Looks like you got lucky then.
He doesn't see that. I'm not telling you anything new.
Things I could tell you.
Do you have anything to sell?
Oh, don't ask. Bennett, one of the new guys, takes care of the weapons and armor now.
His decision, wasn't it?
No better off myself.
In the colony, I was responsible for Lee's entire weapons store. And then along came a trained smith and pow, I'm out of a job.
Don't say you didn't.
I desperately need a new job, even if all I do is guard the farms out there. I don't care, just as long as I'm not twiddling my thumbs here anymore.
Things I could tell you.
Can you teach me anything?
I can teach you a few tricks in handling a bow if you want. I don't have anything better to do right now anyway.
Do you really believe that? Never knew that.
I used to say
I want to learn more about archery.
What should I teach you?
More,
That's
believe
the
me.
first I've heard of tell me you didn't know that.
And that's the truth.
Where did you pick that up these days?
No idea. You tell me.
Have you tried finding a job in town?
In the city? Wild horses couldn't drag me there. Or do you think I would want to work there as a militia soldier? I could just imagine myself in the courtier's uniform. And then that obsession with obedience. Nah, forget it. There may not be anything to do here on the farm, but at least I can do what I want.
I couldn't care less.
Of course we got him in the end. He really said that.
No one really wants to hear that.
That's all just gossip.
I couldn't care less.
Same old thing.
You didn't get that from me. I'd have gone about it differently. Is it really true?
I'm staying out of it.
You said nobody ever asked for my opinion. That was never change.
Hey! Here's the food you wanted.
Fantastic. And now?
Teach me how to hunt.
What do you want to learn?
He thinks it's as easy as that.
Do you really think?
Been there, done that.
He was falling down drunk.
Same old thing. Couldn't get over again.
They all ran like rabbits. I was completely
I'm gonna rip you to pieces.
Stop right there, you lowlife!
Hey! Everything all right?
Yet another day laborer who doesn't know where to go? No problem. Talk with our farmer Bengaar.
That's really not my problem. That'll only cause more trouble. That doesn't surprise me. What's that? It's a bad business. There've been all kinds of rumors. That was obvious all along. He should have known. Who would have thought of that himself? Nobody ever asked me. Tell me you didn't know that.
What are you doing here?
I'm the shepherd here. It's not exactly a demanding job, but now and then you really have to watch out, especially if you get too close to the pass.
What do you know about the pass?
Not much, just that it leads to the old Valley of Mines that was surrounded by the barrier until a few weeks ago. Back then, the only thing we farmers had to be afraid of was the monthly caravan that took all kinds of goods to the Valley of Mines. Those cutthroats often made life difficult for us out here.
Where can I find the pass to the old Valley of Mines?
Near the 2 waterfalls on the other side of the high pastures.
What is it they say about the Valley of Mines?
All sorts of things. Some of the boys say they've heard screams at night. Some have seen strange lights over the mountains. But if you ask me, it's all just old wives' tales.
Have you ever been to the Valley of Mines?
No, but I go near the pass once in a while. Then I always see those 2 paladins who stand around and keep watch. It looks like they're making sure that nothing comes out of the valley. Back then, the Valley of Mines was a natural prison. If you went in, you never came out again.
Tell me more about the paladins. How long have they been posted there?
A week or 2, I suppose. I don't know exactly. Some time ago, there was even a whole troop of them that disappeared into the pass. Since then, I haven't seen them again.
I don't see any women here at all.
You got that right. This is a man's farm, so to speak. Works pretty well, I think.
Don't work too hard.
I'll try.
I'm no better off myself.
Who said that?
I'm not telling you anything new.
That's nothing new.
That's not what I heard.
I could have told you that before.
You're the farmer here?
You could say so, but I'm really just a tenant. All the land here is owned by one big farmer.
How do you make a living?
Mostly hunting and the wood we cut. Of course, we also raise sheep and work the land. Onar saddles me with all these laborers, and I have to keep them busy somehow. Only a few of them are good hunters, you see.
You hardly know who to believe these days.
Has anything strange happened around here lately?
Many strange things are happening these days, but none as strange as the mysterious disappearance of Pardos. He's one of my field workers, and certainly not the kind who would drop everything overnight and slink off just like that, you see.
As if I didn't have enough problems.
What exactly is so strange about his disappearance?
Pardos is such a timid sort. The furthest he's ever been from the farm is to the end of my fields.
Nothing you can do about
He
it.
would run away at the mere sight of a meat bug.
Let's wait and see.
Those things may not be pretty to look at, but you really couldn't call them dangerous. They say there's people who eat them. Gross.
You get used to it.
He never would have thought of that himself.
There've been all kinds of rumors.
Any clues at all?
I think those bandits must have dragged him off. They've been roaming around this area for days now. I once saw them drag a citizen of the town off to their camp. It looked like they were gonna make him a slave.
No, he insisted he knew better.
Where is this bandit camp?
At the far end of my fields, some steps lead down to a small hollow. That's where they have made themselves at home.
Why haven't I heard?
I'd like to go look for Pardos there, but there's no way I'm going up against those guys. And you had better give them a wide berth, too. They're not known for their sense of humor.
Maybe he was simply fed up.
Working in the fields was his life. I cannot imagine him having gone to work for another farmer. With me, he could do whatever he wanted.
You listened to the wrong people.
Were the bandits carrying weapons when they passed by here?
What kind of stupid question is that? How would they be bandits if they weren't armed?
I mean a whole load of weapons. A big delivery.
I see. Yes. Now that you mention it, they were carrying lots and lots. Some in barrels, some in bags, and some on the cart they brought.
Some problems.
You're employing day laborers?
Onar sends away the workers he can't use on his farm. Then he sends them to me. I feed them and they work here for me.
That's not what I heard.
What do you think of Onar?
He's a greedy bastard who'll get us all hanged in the end. One of these days, the paladins will come out of the city and make us small farmers bleed for what he's doing here. But I haven't got a choice. The militiamen only come here to collect and not to defend the farm. If I held myself loyal to the city, I'd be very much on my own. At least Onar sends some mercenaries now and then to see how we're doing.
Why haven't I heard about this before?
Don't tell me you didn't know that.
What have you got against the royal troops?
It's obvious. There hasn't been any improvement now that the paladins are in the city. Just the opposite. Now these cursed militiamen come onto our land even more often and steal everything they can, and the paladins don't do a darn thing about it. The only paladins that I've ever seen are the 2 guards at the pass. They wouldn't budge an inch, even if the militia slaughtered us all.
Let's wait and see what happens.
The pass?
Yeah, the pass to the old valley of mines by the waterfalls at the other end of the high pastures. Ask Malik about it. He was there a couple times last week.
Let's wait and see.
Balthazar the shepherd isn't allowed on your pasture?
Oh yeah, that story. I told him Sekhob should pay me money if he wanted to lead the sheep into my pasture. To tell the truth, that's only harassment. I just can't stand Balthazar.
That's exactly what I said.
That's been known a long time.
Who said that?
It's a bad business.
Those are all just rumors.
Nobody will learn anything from me.
Anything's possible.
There's nothing you can do about it.
Let's wait and see what happens.
You've got a lot of space up here.
It's nice enough. But if you go through the pass back there, you won't think so much longer. If this little tract of land has impressed you, then wait till you see the Valley of Mines back there.
Why are you looking so solemn?
You're wearing our aquamarine ring.
You belong to the Ring of Water?
I certainly do. Good to see a new face in our ranks.
What's your task within the Ring of Water?
I keep an eye on the entrance to the pass to see who goes in and out. Since the paladins have closed the gate to the pass, however, there hasn't been much coming and going.
Have you heard of those missing people?
Of course I have. That's why we're supposed to keep our eyes open. But I haven't seen much that would give you a clue, to tell you the truth.
Who are you?
My name is Gon. I'm a hunter and work for Bengaar, the farmer here on the high pastures. I spend most of my time here outside, basking in the sun.
What do I need to know about the Valley of Mines?
No idea. I'm only taking a fleeting glance at the valley. Look pretty dangerous. The best thing to do if you go there, through the pass, is to stay close to the beaten track. Either you take the way through the big gorge or the road over the stone bridge. That one is shorter and safer. Now that the orcs are roaming all over the place, you have to be a bit careful. I don't want to have to drag you to the herb witch.
Herb witch?
Her name is Sagita, and she's the healer for the farmers and the other people who live outside the harbor city. A truly curious female. No one really likes going to her, and everybody enjoys gossiping about her. But if you're sick, you won't find better help than Sagita and her kitchen full of healing herbs. You'll find her in the strip of woods behind Sekob's farm.
Can you teach me about hunting?
No problem. For 100 gold coins, I can show you how to gut the animals you bring down. Pelts and other trophies bring a lot of money in the market.
Here, 100 gold coins for your expertise on gutting animals.
Thanks. Now you're talking.
What can you teach me?
That depends on what you want to know.
Wait a minute. How's the hunting?
The last animal I could bring down was a large rat. Not very encouraging and bad for business. For several days now, some kind of snorting beast has been roaming the area. It not only kills everything that moves, it also interferes with my work.
What does this dangerous beast look like?
I don't know exactly. Up to now, I mostly heard grunting and scratching. But I've seen what it can do. Even wolves aren't safe from it. The beast even bit the head off of one.
How much would you pay me if I killed that beast for you?
I'd give the person who killed it everything I could spare. 30 gold pieces.
Where does this scummy beast come from?
Somewhere from outside the woods. Maybe from the Valley of Mines. But I don't know for sure. I've never been to the Valley of Mines.
I'll never get this open without the right key. Where does this path lead?
Behind the gate lies the pass to the Valley of Mines. We're on this side. On the other, a few orcs have dug themselves in. It's better if you go back. You cannot get through here.
And what if I go at my own risk?
Then you will die. That's why we're here, so that you don't get such stupid ideas.
How's it going?
The area here is extremely dangerous, so you should turn back. We certainly don't want anything to happen to you.
How's it going?
The area here...
Have any bandits passed by here lately?
No idea what you're talking about. As long as we are on guard duty here, nobody passes, and certainly not any lousy bandits. Ask those peasants back there. Maybe they've seen something.
You're in for it now.
Tell me that isn't true.
He never would have thought of that himself.
Been there, done that.
Hey, you! What's up?
Since Onar announced he was hiring mercenaries, the court's been overflowing with nothing but rogues. All the rabble who didn't have the guts to come out of the woods before are here now. The bastards really came from everywhere.
The mercenaries came from everywhere?
Most of them came from the penal colony. Another group of mercenaries came from the south, where they were probably hunting orcs. I bet that a few of the bandits from the mountains have shown up as well by now to get a free meal, huh?
Will it ever change?
I already thought as much.
That's not what I heard. Nothing amazes me anymore.
It was hardly know what to proceed.
And? Found a new task yet?
Not so far. Let me know if you have a job for me.
There,
done that.
Of course, because from my opinion.
No one really wants to hear that.
I never knew that. Hardly nobody believed any days in me.
Nobody wants to know.
That was obvious all along.
How's it going?
The militia has bullied us long enough. Now that the mercenaries are on our side, they won't dare to just show up here anymore. The king may think he can get away with anything, but we're not going to take it anymore.
All that matters is strength. So
In town, they're talking about a peasants' revolt.
Nonsense. We aren't doing anything except defending what we've worked hard for. It's certainly true that the war is being fought on the backs of the peasants, but Onar is no longer prepared to just stand by and watch while the king bleeds us dry.
I don't know why he gets so worked up.
Can I rest somewhere around here?
If you're looking for a place to sleep, go to the barn. But don't lie down in a mercenary's bed by mistake. Onar makes sure that they leave us farmers alone, but with strangers who don't belong on the farm, the mercenaries can do whatever they like.
Don't tell me you didn't know that.
I can't help it. He thinks it's as easy as that.
I'm not touching that.
I'm staying out of it.
I'd have gone about it differently.
How are things?
Hey, don't I know you from somewhere?
That will never change.
It's possible.
I used to deal in swamp weed back in the colony. Remember?
I don't believe this is going to change. It had to happen sooner or later.
Do you really believe that?
And what are you dealing in now?
Don't ask. I brought a whole package of swamp weed with me from the mining colony. Many of the mercenaries like a little smoke now and then. I've earned a small fortune on the side, but some bastard stole all the weed from my chest. I'm pretty sure it was that Bodo. He bunks in the same room as me, and he always grins at me like such an idiot.
That's all just gossip. No, he insisted on my
What are you going to do about the thief then?
One of these days, I'll catch him puffing away on my weed. And then, I'll find a quiet spot and teach him a lesson he won't forget. If I knock him down here in the middle of the yard, the other farmers will notice, and I'll pay an arm and a leg.
How come?
Quite simple. We can't rough up the farmers, otherwise Lee makes us pay a heavy fine. That's the way Onar wants it. And the more witnesses there are, the more of a fuss there is. That makes things more expensive. So I'll pull the thing off nice and inconspicuously.
That was obvious all along. I'm not telling you anything new.
Show me your wares.
I don't have any swamp weed at the moment. Do you want something else?
Will it ever change? You really should have known better. I hardly know what to believe. That was no big deal. Will it ever change?
That's not what I heard.
I want to join Lee's people.
Lee's people? If Lee keeps on this way, they soon won't be his anymore.
Why?
Lee has always been a quiet one. It was that way in the colony, too. But lately, he's overdoing it. He just wants to sit here and wait until the paladins drop dead from starvation. Silvio thinks we should clean up a bit on the small farms and outside the city. I think that would make for an excellent change. At the moment, most of us are just twiddling our thumbs here. Do you want to join up anyway?
That's just gossip.
I want to become one of you no matter what.
You already know that we take a vote on every new recruit.
What are you hinting at?
Well, I haven't had any to smoke in a long time. Bring me a few swamp weed reefers and you got my vote. You can surely scare some up someplace.
I'm in enough trouble as
About the swamp weed.
I'm not telling you anything. That's not what I heard.
Here's a few stalks for you.
That's all? I can smoke that much in one sitting. It's got to be at least 10 reefers. At any rate, you've got my vote for joining us.
And that's the truth.
Don't tell me you didn't know that. He doesn't see that. I can't help it. I thought as much. I'm staying out of it.
Do you really think?
What are you smoking there?
Want a toke?
Sure.
That's been known a long time. You have to feel sorry. I agree with you completely. Got my own opinion about that. It's totally know.
Not bad, huh?
Where did you get the stuff?
I wouldn't have to listen.
He doesn't even know how to hold a sword. Those are all just...
I have my sources.
Do you do anything besides smoke?
Not at the moment.
Don't have to tell me that. Don't tell me you didn't know that. That's not what I heard.
Tell me that is.
I want to join the mercenaries. Do you mind?
Who cares?
Cipher told me that someone stole a package of swamp weed from him. Would you know anything about that?
No.
Where's the package?
What do I know?
I'll knock it out of you.
Relax, I'm way too stoned to fight with you. Here, first take a big toke.
Where's the package?
What do I know?
That's the truth. I'm no better off myself. That's all just gossip.
Hey, you! I know who took your weed.
Who? Was it that Bodo?
No, one of the mercenaries did it. Dar.
That bastard. Where is he?
Finding him won't help you. He doesn't have the package anymore. He sold it in Corinus.
Where is he?
Behind the kitchen building on the corner.
I'll flatten him.
That's been known a long time. Let's wait and see what happens. Got my own opinion. Nobody wants to know. That's the truth.
Thanks for the gold, you hero. I think I'd better take this weapon.
Nothing to be had there.
I'm staying out of it.
Well, we'll see the next time. Blabbermouth, you told Cipher I took his weed. Like hell will I vote for you.
Do you do anything besides smoke?
Sometimes I let some vengeful swampweed junkies beat me up.
Where's the package?
What do I know?
You really should have known better.
Some problem solved themselves. Of course we got it.
Hey!
I'm not telling you anything new.
You really gave Dar what for? Are you feeling better now?
Yeah, that felt good.
Not to him, I suppose.
The little beggar has no business going through my chest.
You never would have thought of that. There's nothing you can do about it.
About the swampweed.
No one really wants to hear that.
All that matters is
Here's a few stalks for you.
Oh, you are my man. You've got my vote.
that's all just gossip.
Show me your wares.
Sure.
Do you really believe that? I'd have gone about it differently.
Got my own opinion.
You can't rely on that.
You mustn't believe everything you hear.
I agree with you completely.
Cipher told me somebody stole a package of swampweed from him.
And?
He thinks you're the one who took it.
Oh, that's why the guy is always gawping at me so stupidly. I've been extra friendly to him lately because he seems to have hit a rough spot. But there was nothing I could do. I'd look at him friendly-like, and he'd stare at me like he wanted to kill me.
That's been known a long time. That was obvious all along. Of course we got to the end.
Show me your wares.
Sure.
Been there, done that.
You hardly know who to believe these days.
How's my reputation among the mercenaries?
Let's see. Wolf says he has nothing against you joining. It's Cord's opinion that you first need to learn how to handle weapons better. Cipher says that for him it was crystal clear that you'd get to join. Something seems to have made him really happy. Raul's against you. I think he can't stand you. I don't need to say anything about Silvio and Bolko. Those two morons are against everyone. And Dar says you're a blabbermouth. But his vote doesn't count for very much here. The rest of the mercenaries haven't said anything. You convinced most of them by passing the test. Although a lot of them say that getting a farmer to pay his rent was too easy for a test. You have my vote in any case. You're far from done, kid. If you want us to accept you, you'll have to do something for it.
That was no big deal.
Wouldn't be so sure.
I want to improve.
He really said bad business. Nothing amazes me anymore.
No idea. You tell me.
I'm in enough trouble as it is.
I agree with you completely.
I don't believe this is gonna change.
Everything fine with you?
So, you want to join us then, hmm? Do you even have a decent weapon?
What weapons do you have to offer?
Only the best. Just take a look at them.
I couldn't care less. Used to say that myself.
How did you end up with the mercenaries?
I came with Silvio from the south. We belong to an army of mercenaries which fought against the orcs.
What's your opinion of Silvio?
He's a dangerous fella, and many of the mercenaries who came with him this far listen to what he says. Better not pick a fight with him.
What's your opinion of Lee?
I think that the only thing Lee is really interested in is getting away from this island. He wants to go to the mainland. Seems to have a bone to pick with someone there. At any rate, he does a far better job than Silvio ever could. Moreover, he's a good leader. Most of the time we can do whatever we want here.
Would you mind if I joined you?
Once you have passed the test, I shall vote for you.
I passed it already.
Well, that's all right then.
That's...
Don't say you didn't know that.
Will it ever change? Is it really true?
He thinks it's as easy as that.
Do you really believe that? I'm not telling you anything new. Do you really believe that?
No one really wants to hear that.
I want to improve my abilities.
No, if he doesn't see that, I can't help it. You hardly know who to believe these days.
I'm staying out of it.
Good. Now you can use your abilities better.
He never would have thought of that himself. I'm not telling you anything new.
Nobody wants to know.
Nobody ever asked for my opinion.
That's all just all that matters is strength.
Where did you pick that up?
Tell me that. That was obvious all along. I'm not telling you anything new.
Hello, I'm new here.
Don't take this the wrong way, but I'm not really in the mood for conversation. I'm totally wrecked.
You're awfully busy, huh?
You can say that again. Bennett makes so many weapons that I can hardly keep up with the polishing.
What can you tell me about the farm?
This is Onar's farm. That big building is his house. He vacated a wing for the mercenaries. We farmers have had to bunk in the barn ever since. But it's all right with me. It's good that we have people who guard the farm. The building here is the kitchen. Maybe you'll be lucky and Thekla will have something for you to eat.
I'm in enough trouble as it is.
Yeah, he really said.
Can I buy weapons from you?
I don't have much. We take almost all the swords and axes into Onar's house.
Better off myself.
That's the first I've heard of it.
What about the mercenaries?
Onar hired them to keep the city militia off our backs, but they also guard the farm, the sheep, and us farmers. So don't even think about stealing anything or rummaging around in somebody's chest. They're just waiting for a chance to knock you down.
Is it really true?
Hey, you!
I do not sell any weapons. Khaled does. He's in the house with Onar.
What kinds of weapons do you make?
Plain swords at the moment, not much else. But if I had some magic ore, I can forge weapons that are better than all comparable weapons made from regular old steel. You wouldn't happen to know where to find some around here. Besides in the Valley of Mines, I mean.
No.
Of course not.
That's been known a long time.
I've got my own opinion.
Are you with the farmers or the mercenaries?
You're pulling my leg, aren't you?
I was just curious.
Have you ever seen a farmer who also forges weapons?
No.
Then why do you ask such stupid questions?
Better off myself.
It was just like you said.
I want to join the mercenaries.
Stop blabbering then. Go to Torloff and let him put you to the test.
I've passed the test.
Good. I'll vote for you then.
That's all just gossip.
Can you teach me how to forge a sword?
Sure. That'll cost you a bit, though. Let's say 30 gold pieces.
Really believe that? But he knew that all along. He really should have.
Maybe later.
Bengaar himself was after him.
Not my problem. It's a bad business.
I've heard a thing or two.
Teach me how to forge magic ore weapons.
But you don't even know the basics. First, you need to learn how to forge a decent sword. Then we'll see.
But he knew that all along.
What about forging equipment?
What do you need? You have to step in and sort things out. I've got my own opinion about that.
I'm not telling you anything new. You listen to the wrong people. That's been known a long time.
That's the first I've heard of it. Nobody ever asked for my opinion.
He would have thought of that himself. Telling you anything new? Do you really believe that?
Wait a minute.
It can't go on like this forever.
You listen to the wrong people. My sister, I agree with you completely.
It's quite obvious. Can't rely on it. Enough trouble as it is.
I never knew that.
Sooner or later.
I've heard a thing or two. Don't say you didn't know that.
I'm no better off myself. That was obvious all along.
I hardly know what to believe anymore. Nobody ever asked for my opinion.
You hardly know who to believe these days. You tell me you didn't know that.
I get so worked out.
I never knew that.
Hey, don't I know you from somewhere?
It's possible. I was in the colony too.
Right. What do you want?
How's the situation?
Right now, we've got real trouble. 2 factions are building up amongst us mercenaries. Silvio and his people doubt that Lee is following the right plan.
How come there are 2 factions?
Most of us came out of the colony with Lee back then. But some of the mercenaries hooked up with us later. They didn't come from the colony, but were farther south fighting the Orcs. Somehow they got wind that Lee needed people. Their leader was Silvio. He agreed that Lee was in charge, but now he's trying to stir up the mercenaries against him and his plan. A lot of Lee's people don't think that it's a big problem, but I know guys like Silvio. He'll go to extremes to realize his ideas.
Do you know what Lee's intentions are?
Lee wants us to wait and starve the paladins in the city. He is planning to get us all away from the island, and Enos knows I've got nothing against getting away from here. I don't really know how he's planning to go about it, but I trust him. He's led us well so far.
Do you know what Silvio is planning?
Silvio found out that some of the paladins have moved out to the old colony. He says the rest of the paladins wouldn't dare to attack us here and wants to take advantage of the situation. Plunder the small farms, waylay the militia patrols outside the city, hold up travelers, things like that. But Lee thinks that would be the worst thing we could do in our situation.
I want to become a mercenary.
I'm not sure that's a good idea.
Where's the problem?
Well, I either have to vote for you or against you. And in the situation we're in, I'll only vote for you if I can be sure that you're on Lee's side.
So what should I do?
Simple. Beat up a few of Silvio's boys. That way both sides will know exactly where you stand. And if you stick to the rules for a duel, you'll even win the respect of the others.
What are the rules for a duel?
Go to Torloff and let him explain it if you're interested. Just so we understand each other. I don't care if you stick to the rules or not, just as long as the boys wind up out cold in the mud.
Which of the mercenaries are Silvio's men?
There are 6 men. First of all, Silvio himself and his right-hand man, Bronko. Then there's Rod, Sentenza, Fester, and Raoul. The rest of the people are either neutral or on Lee's side.
How many of Silvio's people should I defeat?
If you knock 3 of them to the ground, then you've proven which side you're on. Whom you choose is your business. Just one little hint. This isn't about proving your courage. Don't go up against Silvio himself. He'll make mincemeat out of you.
What are you doing here in my kitchen?
Something smells delicious here.
Oh, yes. I know the likes of you. They're swarming all over the place.
Let's wait and see what
First, they try to get on your good side, and then when you need them, they're nowhere to be seen.
You don't have to ask me that.
I've got no.
I'm hungry.
I don't dish out food to tramps. I only feed people who work. And that mercenary riffraff, of course.
You just have to listen.
I'm looking for work.
You want to work here on the farm? Only Onar can
done that.
decide that. The farm is his, and so is the entire valley.
The things I could tell you.
Nobody ever asks me.
And that's the truth.
Nobody ever asks me.
Same old thing all over again.
As if I didn't have enough problems.
Same old thing all over again.
Actually, I was planning to join the mercenaries.
So you're another of those felons from the penal colony? I might have known. Just leave me alone. There's already enough of your kind around here.
What's your problem with the mercenaries?
Ah, those morons really get on my nerves, especially Silvio and his fat buddy Bronko. The two of them have been sitting in their corner for days now, making life miserable for me. The soup's too hot, the meat's too tough, etc. and so forth.
Then why don't you do anything about it?
And what am I to do, Mr. Smarty Pants? Whack them with my rolling pin? I can do that to the farmers, but these lowly bastards just hit back.
That'll only cause more trouble.
Want me to teach the two of them some manners?
You better not try that, honey. As far as I know, Silvio has magic armor. He can't be defeated.
And what about Bronko?
That guy is as strong as an ox. So far, he has flattened anyone who tried to mess with him or Silvio.
It's no secret.
I need a place to sleep.
Don't even think about sleeping in my kitchen. Go find yourself a place in the barn.
Nobody ever asks me.
That will never change.
Can't go on like this forever.
That's exactly what I said.
That's all just gossip.
Don't say you don't know that. It was just like you said.
That's not what I heard. Do you really believe that?
Nobody
If
wants
he doesn't
to know.
see that, I can't